Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Push the cold brew. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Push the cold brew. Just let me be blunt. My speech in the morning, nothing but grunts. With no coffee, that's as dangerous. On a scale from 1 to 10, I rank it that girl from Stranger Things. And if you get what I'm saying, my attitude be mad flagrant like I'm Draymond. But you ain't get the picture, BFP. So I'm gonna keep pushing on you, GNC. It's like, yeah, the first thing on my mind is when that hot coffee gonna seep into the coffee grind. It's like some magic's floating all in the air. Toss some ice cubes in my cup, it's a good day. All I gotta say is that it's starting in a good way. It's time for work and I don't even care. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Push this cold brew. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Push this cold brew. We start fresh, that's how it's gotta be. Everything starts back with your coffee beans. If it's cold brew, then it's gotta be coarse. Don't get the cart ahead of the horse, start learning the course. But of course you can disregard, and don't at me if it gets too hard. When it's my time to drink, man, it's always on hand. Drink from a cup or a bottle, even a can. You never know when you're craving a hit. It could be in the bathroom while you're taking a Ric Flair, I'll say he ain't got nothing on it. When that coffee hits my lips, it's a seance. Feeling real super with the cape on. Anything I'll take on. This cup of coffee, yeah, boy, this is the shit. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Push the cold brew. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Push the cold brew. Verse, so I guess that's where I talk about how we might be addicted in a roundabout kind of way, or how you say, a dependency that's in my life, and I'm proud to say it's filling me with way more energy than I'll ever need, keeping me up for things I thought I'd never see. Time's gonna kill us all one day, whether old age, illness, or from listening to Coldplay. F that noise, wubba love, love. Drink all the coffee, chug a lug, lug. The day.
Good morning, all of you beautiful nerds from around the world, and welcome to the morning stream here on the Den of Nerds Live, the very best way to start your nerdy day. On today's show, new comics. Comics are back, baby. There's a bunch of new awesome comic books. I'm going to be sitting down with Trinity from Second Street Marvel. We're going to talk about the new comics coming out, give you guys some advice on what maybe you should pick up. Ask Trinity if he has a favorite book that came out. I have a favorite book that came out, and I can't wait to talk about it. Also, the launch of Hbo Max. Fascinating stuff. I know you guys you might be getting sick of me talking about the whole Zack Snyder, the AT&T, all of this stuff, but I can't stop thinking about it. It's incredible. But the question is the service actually worth it day one at launch? Okay? This is going to be really interesting to get into. We're going to talk about this. I want to know what Trinity thinks about this. Plus, I found a video online of Jim Lee talking about the DCEU, talking about the future for Warner Brothers at C2E2 earlier this year. I want to put that video. We're going to go into the theater. We're going to watch that video together, and we're going to speculate about what it means. What do we think is going on with DC? And I'm actually pretty hopeful with that video and everything that is in it. But how's everybody doing in the chat? What is going on, everybody? Music Major's here. Maverick Pilgrim's in the building. Mike Porter. Landon's here. Ray Hall. Jason. Mr. Deeds. Wu-Tang Wells. Star Wars Santa. Jordan Stormbreaker. Jonathan Jeffers. Landon. John. Bill M. is here. Will Morgan's in the building. Dick Kwan, Rob Van Camp, Jacob's Quest is here. Harvey, Lavis, Tanapon, And Daquan is here as well. Josh Mason in the building. Bunch of beautiful, lovely nerds. What is going on, everybody? How you doing today? This music's kind of crazy, Chet. I feel almost some Batman vibes. Social Distance Warrior says no love. Hey, there's some love. Alexander Carfeld is in the building. Guys, Alex is one of my best friends. One of my best friends. Good dude. And apparently he got all mad at me yesterday because I didn't answer one of his questions in chat. So, you know. But in either case, guys, let's get into some of this stuff, man. Let's get into some of this stuff. So, I want to know in chat, before we bring Trinity in, before we get to all of that business, I want to know from you guys, are you getting HBO Max today? Are you getting HBO Max just in general? I want to know. Let me know in chat. Are you guys getting HBO Max? LB from the Lonely Banners here. What's up, LB? Holy cow. So we got one yes and a couple of no's right off the bat. HBO Max not on either of my TVs, and it's not on the Fire Stick as of 5 hours ago. Russell says nay. Star Wars Santa says yes. Bought it immediately after the Snyder Cut announcement. Dang! Star Wars Santa. Snyder Cut supporter. Fanjector said, I've had HBO since 2011, so yes, I'm keeping my service. So I actually have a question about that, Adam. Question about that. So I have HBO now. And it's the same account. So I tried to sign up for the free trial today, and it's the same account. It's the same email. And yet I still had to put my credit card information in. I was like, what is all this? So do I have to literally go into HBO now and end that subscription? That's so weird. No, because I have Disney Plus and Amazon. That's a no. Already have HBO, which is changing to Max. I won't. No desire for HBO Max now or probably ever. Whatever they come out with that looks good, I'll buy the Blu-ray of. That's interesting, Wayne. That's an interesting take. Sam Shields says yes. I'll get it when there's nothing left on Hulu and I cancel it. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but I think so. So I'll do it now and let you know. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. Let me know. By the way, Adam, I'd love to have you on the show tomorrow, man. Talk about all this craziness. I know you probably got some thoughts. You have HBO now, but is it to the max? I don't think it's to the max. I did get HBO Max today, and just briefly looking over it, we'll get into some more stuff about it. But just briefly looking over it, man, I gotta tell you, the UI looks great, and there's a lot of great content on there. But we'll get into all of that in just a second. Okay, so Chet, pause this music. Let's go ahead and bring on now Trinity from the 2nd Street Marvel. Trinity, are you there? Uh-oh, I hear a little bit of my my audio coming through your...
Yes. Well, I can hear you.
Here, should I unmute here? Yeah, you can probably... Sorry. I had that muted. All right, you can hear me now?
There we go. Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, first question, my friend. How are you today?
Doing well. Oh, dang.
Technology, man.
Doing well. I hope everybody's doing well out there. I mean, it's New Comic Book Wednesday, so how could you not be doing well?
Exactly. And, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is sort of the first official New Comic Book Day back, right? I mean, this is the first one that sees a lot of big releases. A lot of shops are opened up around the country. So this is kind of like the first day back, even though they've sort of been trickling out, right?
Yeah. Last week, DC put out physical books, a couple of indies as well. Marvel put out digital books, and this week they're all back in print books. We got indies, we got Marvel, we got DC, and yeah, it's great. it's great to finally have them back.
Yeah. So is your shop open, or is that technically because of? I mean, in California, I think things are still pretty ratcheted down, right?
They are pretty ratcheted down. Well, I mean, kind of. Here where I live at, people are over it.
Yeah.
And my shop has been open the whole time. What they've done is pretty much what they did was they pretty much just had the door locked and they're like, hey, if you want to come into the store, you can come into the store, have your mask on and everything. If you want us to, do curbside, you can pull up. If you want us to do delivery, we'll do delivery.
Awesome.
But yeah, they've been open. They've been open the whole time. Obviously, not advertising it or anything out there. And hey, man, I wasn't out there trying to put them on blast or anything the whole time, but I kind of let it be known that they were open, to my viewers.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, wasn't there something over there too where there was tattling and you were getting rewarded for tattling on businesses and people that were I've kind of sort of heard that in the news. I don't know how much of it's true.
Yeah, I'm not for sure how much that's true. Because I never heard anything about that, and believe me, there's some local scanner pages here where people post a lot about just scanner calls and things going on in the community. I'd have definitely heard about it from there.
Right on.
But no, but there has been cases of that where people are out there telling on people for having their businesses open and.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. But anyways, no, it's good. It's good the comics are back. So my first question to you is, and I know you're reviewing a lot of books. I saw you posted a Marauders review, which I want to check out later.
Yeah.
So what do you have a couple of favorite books that came out today, or a couple books that you would definitely recommend to people?
Yeah, actually there was a couple that came out. Yeah, I got actually a couple to recommend. Obviously, the Marauders review, I would definitely say Marauders. If you haven't been reading the Dawn of X, any of the Jonathan Hickman X-Men stuff, go back. You can go read them all. Most of them are available on trade paperback right now. You can catch up in the collections, and they're starting to put out each individual title into collections as well. They're doing it a number of ways. It's really weird, but the Hickman X-Men stuff has been great. The Marauders issue number 10, really good stuff going on in this book. I definitely enjoy that. If you want the superheroes, obviously I read Amazing Spider-Man issue number 43 came out yesterday, and another one that I've got that I've really enjoyed. It's an indie book. If you like indie books, is this Sarah and the Royal Stars.
Oh, that looks sick.
Yeah, it's actually a really good one. It actually kind of plays on telling a little bit about astronomy, I guess, like star constellations. Because what's happened is the star constellations, they're being represented by these people who end up they had spells put on them. They're stuck on Earth. The seasons won't change. Sarah, the main character, her people are she's the leader of their army, and their people are living in famine. So she has to set out to set the royal stars free. Well, she did that in the first volume, basically in the first part of the story arc. She did that. She set them free, but now they're still not completely powerful, 100% free, because they have to go out there and do something kind of against their own morals, if you will, to break the spell. And that's kind of what's going on here. And issue number 7 was really good. A bunch of great dialogue in this book, and the art in this book is really good. I'll have a review of that one dropping here probably later today.
That sounds pretty dope, man. So who's the publisher on that?
That is done by Vault Comics.
Oh, Vault. Okay.
Vault, yeah, Vault. They do a number of great titles. And a variety of different stuff depending on what you like. They might have something to fit your needs, but definitely a variety of great titles.
Hell yeah, man.
Great
Hell
book.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you this. I'm going to recommend the book I want to recommend most is the new Avengers book. And I just want to talk about this for just a second because it actually I think it illustrates perfectly why, even if you love the movies and you're like, oh, dude, the movies are good enough for me, why you should be reading comics, because they allow you to experience these crazy things that I'm not saying that it couldn't happen in the MCU or something like that, but you'd have to wait a while. It would take so long and all that stuff. So the newest issue of Avengers is the start of an arc with Moon Knight. And it is the start of an arc with Moon Knight where he goes around and he's taking different things. So I'll sort of talk about the first one, and then I'll sort of leave it up to your imagination, and you should definitely check it out. But the first thing he does is go to Kunlun and actually get. He's trying to get the Iron Fist itself, not Danny, but like the actual Iron Fist, the spirit that's in Danny. And he literally the concept is, what if Moon Knight and Khonshu started taking powers from the Avengers, and you had a situation with the Avengers versus Moon Knight? And I mean, dude, I wasn't like super crazy about the art, and some of the dialogue at the beginning was like a little bit whack, but then as it got into it, I was like, whoa, this is absolutely nuts. And the thing that's really cool is, like, Moon Knight's sort of in people's minds right now. We're thinking about the Disney Plus show. And I think it's really smart to do a story arc with Moon Knight like that. So, like, and that's the one I want to recommend the most, because it's sort of a part one. Even though it's issue, I think, 38 of Avengers, it's a part one that you really don't have to read too much of what's been going on in Avengers to get a taste of it, which I think is also something that's really, really important. I don't know if you checked that one out at all.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I haven't read that. I haven't read the Avengers or been keeping up with that. I read a lot of the individual stories, but that sounds pretty exciting. And I know there's several people out there who just read Avengers and don't read all the different ones that I read. So it's interesting, because from what I understand, some of the continuity going on in the Avengers books is a little bit different than what's going on in each individual character's book, because I seen somebody, like I said, I haven't read. I seen somebody reviewing one of the Avengers comic books and tell me what was going on, and I was like, well, how do they explain? Because like this character right now in this other book, in their own book, is in a completely different place right now. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
but no, the Avengers, I need to give that one a try one of these days. Maybe I'll check out some trade paperbacks on that and do some catching up.
Yeah, so when I started reading it when it relaunched, because I think the concept of it when it first came out was sort of a return to Iron Man, Thor, and Cap was really like sort of how they sold it, because for a long time Marvel had taken those characters off of the main Avengers cast, and there was this weird stuff going on. We had Hail Hydra Cap, we had Iron Man dying, and then coming back. Odinson, of course, loses the worthiness and then has a whole big arc and a journey. And so the original relaunch concept for this Avengers was that we're going back to these old characters and all that. And I think I read it for like 4 or 5 issues, and then I fell just way off of it. But I do know that that's a thing in comics, but that's kind of always been a thing, right? There's always these little like inconsistencies with like this character and that character, you know what I mean? Like I've seen issues before where like Spider-Man's off doing this thing in his own book, and then he's popping up in like a Ghost Rider book doing this thing, and you're like, how does that like work together? But so let me ask you this, man. We sort of talked about this briefly on Twitter. For those that don't know anything about what's going on with Marvel right now, like, do you have any sort of baseline way to sort of explain what is going on in Marvel Comics? We're heading towards Empire, right? Like, that's sort of the next big event, I think, is Empire, right?
Yes, yes. And exactly what all that entails, I'm not for sure, because like I said, they do have these events that kind of go on outside of some of each individual's character's continuity. And I think it's funny, because you were just talking about this, I believe, yesterday on the live stream, where like it's okay to, you're talking about like the Snyder cut, and if they went through with some of that stuff, and then if they decided to keep the Pattinson Batman, the Reeves Batman, all that stuff out there, like that's okay. Like it's okay to have several different things on, because that's exactly what they do in the comics a lot of times. Is they have multiple things going on, and like this is going on over here, that's going on over there, and I think that's okay, as long as it's kind of known and explained, or maybe because your average fan, like your average movie fan who don't read comic books, who just watches the movies, may not understand and may not get that. They might be like, what's going on here?
Right.
What?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, dude, it's so crazy. You saying that makes me want to put this video up with Jim Lee and then talk about it. Are you cool with like watching this video and then just getting into the HBO discussion, or is there any other last things you want to talk about with comics, real quick?
I don't think not anything that we haven't really covered already. In the past couple of weeks, just with things as they've started to slowly roll back out and everything. But all I know is like I'm pretty excited to get back into the weekly releases, and I don't know, it was really kind of a sense of return to normalcy.
Yeah, man.
Getting back into the shop and seeing people there.
Yeah, dude, I'm actually excited. Like, so, real quick too, I'll just say to everybody that's watching, there might not be a video on the main Den of Nerds channel today because I'm so busy. Like, I'm just so busy. I probably, unless something earth-shattering happens, you probably won't see a video on the main channel today. But one of the things I'm going to do today is try to find some shops that in Pittsburgh and see like what they're doing and what's going on. I'm also partially trying to get them to commit as sponsors for the Nerd Card Showdown. But I'm gonna go in there, and you were talking about the Jonathan Hickman X-Men stuff, and I know maybe next week we'll argue about digital versus physical and debate that like hardcore or something. But I've read all of those Hickman books in digital, but I'm trying to find them in trade. Like as soon as I can get my hands on those in a trade paperback, I'm gonna get my hands on them, and I'm gonna spend an afternoon reading them again in physical. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude, it's just so cool. Like it's such a nice thing to have these businesses opening up, and I think that no matter where you stand on all that stuff, like dude, like just I think we're all gonna be so grateful to have these things back and to be going back out there. And you know what? I honestly feel like in some ways it's going to show the better side of like the consumer business relationship or capitalism or whatever you want to call it. Because like, honest to God, man, like we all want to be out there spending money. You know what I mean? Like we want to be out there supporting these businesses, supporting these. And now there's like this thing kind of hanging over it where we're like, yeah, no, like this will viscerally help them. Like they've literally probably had their income shut down by 90% over the past couple of months. Every dollar they get in this next month is going to make a huge difference. If you've got some bread, like go out there and support these businesses. And I think that it's just cool to me. Like, I don't know, like I just like it. I think that there could be a silver lining to this and a better understanding of that relationship. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. All
right, well, let's get into the theater. Trinity, I don't have it set up so that your camera will be in here, but we'll this video, guys, is oh god, we got Twitter with Miley Cyrus on there. Chet, what are you doing? It's Billie Eilish. Okay, sorry. Well, don't Jesus Christ. Well, don't put your stupid all right. Anyways. All right, here we go. I want to play this video. Let me double check and make sure this is up. Okay, cool. It is. I'm going to play this video for you guys. And Trinity, I'm going to mute you for just a second while we have this on. And then we will talk about it because this is really interesting, especially when you consider what is going on with the Snyder Cut and what we now think was happening with Jim Lee. Just for the record, this is C2E2. This was a Comic-Con right before the entire world shut down, right? And this was around the time in which Jim Lee and a lot of other people over at DC and Warner Brothers had actually seen the Snyder Cut. They were sitting down with the AT&T executives and with the HBO and with the Warner people, and they watched it. This is around the same time, so just check out what he says here.
Yes, sir. My name's Aaron. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. My question is quick and simple. Should we see the Snyder Cut?
So, if I say the word Snyder Cut, that the clickbait headline is Jim Lee talks about the Snyder Cut. And then, in the
I'm not
comments...
looking for hits. I'm just looking for an honest opinion created.
I'm not saying you would do this, sir. You look like a fine enough
All right, I want to pause for just a second here because I need to shout out that this video is actually on a YouTube channel called The Promise Posse, and also the title of this is Jim Lee jokes about the Snyder Cut at C2E2. So just, I don't know, a little meta stuff going on there.
I'm just talking about the internet. And then the questions will be, how did he say the word Snyder Cut? Did he say it in a positive way or did he say it in a negative way? How much was it Snyder Cut hopeful or Snyder Cut downplayed? Right? I don't know. So it's a really tough question to answer. So, but I will say that the only thing I'll say about this is that I think sometimes there's a movement to sort of segregate the audience and kind of dismiss a group and say they're not the fans, right? They're the people that like this or they only like that. And I think that's something we need to resist. Or honestly, we need every comic book fan that's out there. And whether you want the Snyder Cut or not, you're a DC fan, and I want you to be a DC fan. So that said, we have, we've been working on this slate. We have an amazing Batman movie. Suicide Squad is just killer, and Black Adam next year. These are all next year. We have Wonder Woman 84, which is, got tremendous momentum from the first movie that was amazing. So there's a lot of great positive things happening, and that universe is continuing to move on. I think next year will be the first time ever that we'll have 3 theatrical releases in 1 year. And Walter Hamada is in charge of DC Films. It's a great partner, loves DC, super creative, great relationship with filmmakers. So we're very positive and hopeful for the future of the DC extended universe.
Okay, so okay, couple of different things, and let's get out of the theater. I know. Just file out. Let's get back into the chatting. And we're gonna bring Trinity back in, and I want to go right to you, Trinity. What's your baseline thoughts on what the main man just said, man?
I mean, obviously, it seemed like he kind of knew what was going on with everything, and he's absolutely right about everything that he's saying there. I mean, you need everybody on board. It doesn't matter how you feel about it, whether you want to see it or not. That's the whole thing with this whole Snyder Cut thing. I mean, I haven't made a video about it yet, but like everything going on with this stuff is just absolute absurdity right now with like reactions to it and everything. There's nothing wrong with everything going on here. Like, he's right. We need everybody on board with this stuff. Like, that's one of the reasons when I head out and see any of these movies, I always want them to be good. And almost every single one of them, with I think the exception of like 3 of them, I've went out and supported every single one of them at the movie theater, because it's not about this or that. It's like, do you want to get out there and see it? It's something that you're willing to support. The more support it gets, the more we can guarantee that we get good movies like this. And hopefully we don't have to live through something like what's going on with all this again.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like, I mean, in hindsight, you can kind of see that, like, yeah, he definitely knew something was going on, right? Very smart way to answer it. There's a little line at the very end that if you don't like really look for it, you'll miss it. But at the very end, he says, we're excited for the future of the DC extended universe. So at the very end of that interview, or I guess segment at a Comic-Con, he says, we're very excited for the future of the DC extended universe. Now, what's interesting is a lot of people have extrapolated out from that A, the Batman is a part of the DCEU, and B, that they are going to use Flashpoint to put all of these things back in order, to put all of these things back on. But just to sort of take a step back from all of that for a second, it's like crazy how smart it is to say we need every comic book fan there is. And I think that's honestly like the exact right answer, right? And so,
Right.
I think you and I are on the same page here where it's like, well, should Affleck come back? And then I think the debate becomes, no, the Batman is the future. I want the Batman to be the future, right? And it's like, why not both? Like, what? Seriously, why not both?
Right.
And as I kind of rambled on about yesterday, it's like, not only could they do that, but they have diegetic ways. Like, they have a multiverse. They have a way to make it all make sense. I should also mention that Jim Lee and people at Warner Brothers were behind the Ezra Miller Flash showing up in the CW show. I didn't know this at first. At first, I thought that was just something cool that the show wanted to do. That was streamlined and set up by the people at HBO, including Jim Lee. And so, I'm actually going to work on a big video where I sort of talk about this, but I think it's very possible that for the first time in like 5 or 6 years, Warner Brothers has an actual plan, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they've got an actual plan. Like, I don't know. What do you think about that?
The whole thing here with everything going on, and it's easily arguable both ways. Where everybody's trying to say that DC just came out there and tried to start copying Marvel and all this, trying to follow their template and build this whole thing up that quick without putting in the groundwork that Marvel did. Well, honestly, doing something like this, like doing something like that, kind of like does that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of explodes it into the world where it's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Let's just throw all caution to the wind. And to me, I mean, to do that is actually kind of a checkmate, because where we see that Marvel is just now where they've got their own streaming service that they're bringing in with Disney Plus and doing all of that stuff, integrating it. If they did something like that in DC, that's basically saying all this stuff has happened. Everything we've done here is 100% canon to what we're doing, because you know what? Multiverse and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, dude. It's crazy. Like, I kind of buy it. And I think it would be really cool. And it's like, it solves so many of their problems, right? Like, well, wait a minute. Which Justice League is canon? Why not both?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, why not both? Like, this cut over here in the Joss Whedon multiverse, Batman was cracking jokes. You know what I mean? Because, like, let's be real. Like, there's some lines in the Justice League where Batman's like, ugh, that's going to hurt. Or, like, I'm bleeding or something like that, right? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, Joss, like, no, Snyder ain't going to do that shit, right? So, which one's canon? Both. And then, like, dude, like, I think it's just crazy because they actually have an opportunity to take crazy idea, Trinity. Take all of their fans and unite them. And also give a variety of content so that everybody's got their toys, right? I mean, like, I always say that. I always talk about that. It's like everybody's got their toys. I think that good things are ahead for DC. Like, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I truly believe it. I believe that good things are on the horizon and that they might be shaping up. And all it took was a mega telecommunications corporation to come in and shake things up. But let's segue into some HBO Max stuff, man. Let me ask you: Are you getting the Max?
You know what? I was going by the thing that I'm not gonna pay for it. Like, no, when the Snyder Cut comes out, maybe I'll reach out to my sister or somebody and be like, hey, got HBO Max? What's your password? But I got an email just like the same day when I was on a stream implying that I would do that. And I got an email from AT&T saying, hey, HBO Max is free, pal. Here you go.
Holy shit. So much like the Verizon thing that happened with Disney, like how long are you getting it for free?
I'm not for sure, because I know that like the HBO streaming has basically been free for AT&T customers for a while.
Wow.
So I was pretty happy to hear that. I mean, if hopefully it goes through at least next year. But yeah, it didn't give any like time window or anything. If I would expect that it's probably just going to be free for AT&T customers.
Wow, dude, what a bold move, dude. I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, dude. You know what? I think they probably saw your stream about that, and they were like, we better fix this up. Yeah. So
I think one of the things is and here you see everybody's reaction to what's going on. I think one important thing for everybody to remember, like no matter what, people are out there like, oh, they're, like upset, they're satisfying these toxic fandoms and all that. All that stuff, like that's ridiculous speak in the first place. But here's one thing they're not doing is it's not like a direct cash grab. They're not like producing this thing and putting it in theaters and say, hey, we're going to make all this money back. They're basically just putting it on their platform, saying, "Hey, it's here. If you're subscribed to us, you could probably go there and subscribe for a month, I would guess, on a month by month basis, and just watch that if that's all you want to watch. If they want to cash grab, they would do it in a different way. I mean, here they're pretty much putting money into it to attract people and get people back into it, and maybe, like we're saying here, like maybe they are launching this bigger universe and just tying it all together, saying to heck with it.
Yeah, man. Dude, yeah. I mean, like, I've been pretty vocal about how good I think this is, and just in general moving forward, I think it's great. But that's so interesting that it's free for AT&T customers. I want to look more into that because that's kind of what Amazon does, right? So, like, Amazon is just trying to get you in their ecosystem with that. Like, Amazon Prime Video, it just comes with it. If you have Amazon Prime, you instantly have access to Amazon. And it's like,
Right.
it's you would think like that would be something that I'm damn sure a lot of people would be like, I don't understand. Like, why, like, why spend billions of dollars on content just to get people onto your service and do all this stuff? Well, it's like, look, I mean, you're talking about a dude that is maybe going to be the first trillionaire, and a guy that, like, he really understands business. Like, you just can't deny that, right? So
Right.
they're making moves, and they're thinking way long term. And AT&T is sort of, at least in some ways, a competitor to Amazon. And they are probably doing the same thing. They're thinking long term. And so that is a fascinating thing for me. Look, I'll just say for my part here, I'm just going to go to the front page. I'm not even going to put it on screen, but I'm going to go to the front page of HBO Max, and I'm just going to explain to you guys what I see here, because I think there's a debate going on, and I've seen some people talking about this. Like a friend of the channel, Jeremy Conrad, he had an interesting take. And basically, like, Conrad had said, at launch, there's no 4K on HBO Max whatsoever, right? No 4K. And that's like weak sauce as compared to Disney Plus that had a bunch of 4K stuff. And the idea is that, coming in at like $14 a month, and, that I believe is more than Disney Plus. Am I wrong? Or is that about the same?
I honestly don't know. I bought some package with the Disney Plus thing. We're gonna have it for a while.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see. I know that. Okay, yeah, Disney Plus cost $7 per month or $78 per year. So yeah, so it's about double the price of Disney Plus, and it didn't have the 4K content. Okay, so let's just table that for a second, because I'll ask you about what you think about all that. But on the front page, okay, they have, I think they're really trying to get Friends. Friends is obviously a huge show, one of the most syndicated shows of all time.
Right.
Friends is like front and center. There's like a late show with Elmo. There's like the Harry Potter stuff. And so, like, I scrolled down and I was like, okay, like this is kind of some interesting stuff here. What's really on this HBO Max? The featured series, dude, like they just have a ton of fire on there. Like a lot of good stuff. Let me see here. Had to refresh. Apologies. Yeah, the featured stuff I thought was really cool. I love the UI too. It's clean, it's simple. But I mean, just on the featured stuff, they've got Rick and Morty, like, right up in your face. You know what I mean? They've got Doctor Who right up in your face. They've got Westworld right up in your face. The Boondocks. Dude, I love the Boondocks. I'm going to go in there and watch all the Boondocks. You know what I mean? You scroll through, you've got like that OG Teen Titans. You've got Adventure Time. You got Real Time with Bill Maher, The Wire, Doom Patrol, like all these dope things, okay? So then, like, you're going down and you're like, okay, well, where's, the Max originals? They've got Love Life with Anna Kendrick. No idea about that. They've got new Looney Tunes stuff. Maybe interesting. This show with Elmo. I'll be honest, I feel like the original stuff is pretty weak. But then you go to the featured movies. You've got the original Wonder Woman. You've got Joker on there. You've got Aquaman, Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, all this stuff. Then down there, you've got all the Harry Potter stuff. All of it. All the Harry Potter films. Boom. Right there. Okay? Then you've got, like, the HBO stuff, which, that's a bunch of great stuff on there. Game of Thrones, Chernobyl, Watchmen, and all that. They've got categories of different things. But, dude, the thing that really blew me away, and I didn't even know this was a thing, and Ryan will love this. They've got the Studio Gilby, which is the studio that brought you Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, and all of that. Guys, they have all of their movies.
Wow.
All of them. Like, I've never even seen Princess Mononoke. It's one of the huge, like, holes in my nerd culture, right? Like, and now I get to watch Princess Mononoke and all of these different movies. If I wanted to, I could go down the rabbit hole on that stuff. And so for me, like, dude, I don't know about you, Trinity, but 4K really doesn't mean dick to me. And this is a good chunk of content. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, man?
It sounds like a lot of good stuff. And I mean, there's got to be some place out there. I mean, we know like the streaming wars have begun. So it sounds like they've got a lot of fire content. I mean, obviously Disney is limited because with their service, what they want to do because of the family stuff. You know, they want to keep it family oriented. Which, come on, man. Like, if you got kids, I mean, surely, hopefully, you monitor what they're watching anyway. But you know,
Yeah.
It sounds like they got some great content on there available. I'll have to get on there and download it and check it out. Like, you've got me sitting here going to the app store while you're talking about like man, maybe I just need to download this and get this all ready to go so I can check out the shows.
Right? Like, so I looked at there, I was like blown away. I was like, because look, I'll just be real. Like, look, you know, we don't really, as crazy as it is, like, we don't really pick sides, Trinity. Like, I love nerdy shit, and I just like to give my opinion and shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I know it might shock people, and I feel like I can feel it already. People being like, Josh is turning to Warner Brothers' side. Josh is turning DC. He's anti-Disney all of a sudden. No! But let's be real. That Disney Plus launch was kind of weak. You know what I mean? Like, the library on there was kind of weak. Now, there was great stuff on there. Obviously, Mandalorian was dope. And once they get the Marvel stuff, it's game over, right? But when I looked at the content on HBO Max, I was very impressed, dude. I was very impressed. And you know what? Godfather has a very good point. He says 4K doesn't mean anything until we get our bandwidth back. That's true. Like, everybody's getting their bandwidth pinched right now anyways. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, looking at this, I felt like it's a really good launch. The other side of this is, I mean, the Snyder Cut move, dude. The Snyder Cut move. Like, the Snyder Cut move was such brilliant business. And I think now, like, the thing that's really wild is any criticism, I think, aimed at HBO Max today, or anybody that's trying to, like, take shots at the launch, I think they might be met by one of the most intensive fan groups I've seen in a long time. And I feel like, especially with the way AT&T has been, like, tweeting back at people, like, doing all this crazy. Have you seen, like, how they've been acting on social? It's insane. I feel as though they have really earned the loyalty of those people. And the criticisms are going to be hard to get seen, I think. I think they'll get buried by a lot of the positivity. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the things, the social media reaction to everything that's been going on the past few days is, to me, just like absolute hilarity. Compile that on top of everything else I've just kind of been seeing going on is absolute hilarity. This HBO Max thing is a good thing for everybody. We all need content to watch. The Godfather is right about that 4K thing. We don't need it. You know, I don't even have anything in my house 4K but my phone.
Right.
So, you know, and it only records in 4K. I doubt it. I mean, but am I going to watch in 4K on my phone?
Right. I know, right?
All together, this is a good thing. I mean, there needs to be competition out there, and you know, with all these streaming services providing, you know, just good content for us to watch, and you know, finding different ways to get it to us. I mean, yeah, like you said, I'm not against any of it, man. Like the easier access we have to all of it, the better. Like I'm over 40. I grew up in a world where I didn't have access to this kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Like for me to even find a Batman T-shirt, like you find that shirt at the store and like you're happy because like you don't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not like now.
I know, right? These kids, dude. These kids don't have any understanding of how good they got it for sure. I see some people talking in chat about the price point. Let's talk about that a little bit. What do you think? Because I mean, Disney Plus is. I mean, I'll say this: the pricing of Disney Plus was really smart, and coming in at about half of that $15 mark is smart. I think the logic behind the HBO Max thing is they're bringing in the HBO content. So I mean.
Right.
Look, if you were paying for HBO Now, I think HBO Now was at least $12 a month, maybe $10 to $12 a month. And that's what you're paying to watch your True Detectives, your Westworlds, your Chernobyls, your Game of Thrones, and all of that stuff, right? So what do you think? Do you think that the price point is going to be a big hang up for people, or do you think it's appropriately priced? A lot of people are saying that it's really compared to the bundle, the Disney Plus bundle, which comes with ESPN and comes with Hulu, I think is that $12 to $14 mark. So that's the comparative. But what do you think in general of the price point? Is it too high? Is the rent too damn high?
For me, I think all of them. I think all of them are just a little bit too high. But if you think about how much you're using it, I mean, that's what you got to look at is what is the value to you as the viewer more than anything. Like me, that price. With everything that's separate now, everybody having their own little separate services, I think it's probably just a tad bit on the high side. But in that case, with being so many, I feel like they all are, because then we're right back where we were, with cable, that high cable bill. But here, you actually get to pick and choose what you get. So I think it's just a little bit too high. I mean, maybe even just a couple of dollars less, but they do have plenty of great content. Obviously, we can see through just through what you've listed on here. I was starting to go through, you were starting to lose me on the show.
I know, dude, right? I was starting to lose myself.
Ooh, how do I get signed in here?
I can't wait. Like, I'm behind on Rick and Morty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm behind on Rick and Morty. Like, I've never seen Spirited Away. Like, come on, dude. Like, and I've got a real busy day. It sucks. Like, it sucks. All I want to do all day is just sit on HBO Max. I got to be honest with you. That's all I want to do. But of course, there's just a lot of stuff that we got to get done for the channel and all that. But here's what I think about the price. I think ultimately, there's no factual basis for this whatsoever. This is just pure Josh speculation. But what I think there's about $60 a month that people are willing to spend total on their streaming stuff. I think that's the limit. I think that's about it, which equates to, if they're all priced at that $15 mark, that really equates to about 4 services, So you got your Netflix, you got your Disney stuff, you got your HBO Max, and then maybe you got your Amazon Prime, right? I think that's about what people are willing to spend, and I think that's equivalent to about what the old cable bills before they started getting outrageous and stuff. I think that's about what you were looking at for that, right? So I think that it's competitively priced. Would I say it's overpriced? I do. I would say it's overpriced. I think even $3 less would have made a big difference. And we'll see. I mean, it's not like they can't change that, right? But think about this too. Right. If what you're saying to me is AT&T customers get this for free forever, then it's completely appropriately priced, because you have to have an anchor mark for the value at which the AT&T customers are getting, right? So in some weird way, like, economics is weird. Economics is not as straightforward as people think it is. And so in some ways, they need to anchor that price to add that perceived value to the AT&T customers to ultimately try to get people to come into that ecosystem. So it's actually more than just, is this appropriately priced for what I'm getting with my content? You know what I mean? So, dude, I mean, I got to tell you, I think they lie. I just admire good business decisions, and I think they made a variety of good business decisions in the lead up to this, and I hope the launch goes well for them, and I hope it's really successful. Any last things you want to say before we let you go and let you get ready for your stream today?
No, that's really about it. I mean, I guess I do have this one thing, like you're saying there about the business decision. What's funny is I remember a couple of weeks ago, not too long ago, everybody was talking about how they're just going to scrap everything. AT&T don't care. They're no good. They're just going to ruin everything. They're the worst. And wow. fast forward a few weeks later and look at where we are. Everybody's happy.
I know, right?
Everybody's loving it.
Everybody was like, I mean, it's so funny. I was watching videos, especially when I found that video of Jim Lee. The surrounding that video are it's over for Warner Brothers, it's over for DC Comics, AT&T's going to sell DC and all these different things. It's all around that same time, right? And it just shows you how fast things can change, you know? How valuable PR is. Like, it's just so crazy to me. This whole situation's been wild. And, you know, you add in the elements of course, the global economic shutdown. And it's been really interesting to see, like, how are these companies dealing with this? What are these companies going to do? But yeah, I think that from a brand perspective, DC just totally 180'd. Like, in the last couple of months, they literally 180'd from where they were at and where the perception was to where they're at now and what the future holds. And I mean, you just got to tip the hat to them, man. You know what I mean? Like, those are big boy decisions. You know what I mean? Somebody needs hired and somebody needs fired. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
Well, thanks again, my friend, for being here. And are you're gonna be talking about some more of these new comics on your show?
I'll probably flap my gums a little bit about comic books coming out today, and and just the joy of new comic book day being back. Talk a little bit about that, and I got some reviews getting ready to drop on the channel today. So
it's good stuff.
Getting back to the swing of things.
Absolutely, brother. It's good stuff. Well, thanks again for being here. I'm gonna let you go, and everybody, we'll drop the link in just a bit here, and we'll send you over to Trinity Stream where he'll be flapping his gums about all that awesome stuff. Let's go ahead and get into Q&A a little bit here. Probably go for like 15 minutes. We talked about a lot. I'm sure everybody's got some opinions. I'd love to know what you're thinking, guys. So drop them questions on in to the chat, and let's just talk about this, man. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think. Oh man, Josh, you said you ain't seen Spirited Away, and my girlfriend's having a fit. No, but look, your boy's gonna have watched Spirited Away by the end of the week, all because of this streaming service. Like, when I saw that, I was like, wow, they're kind of killing the game. You know what I mean? They're kind of killing the game a little bit, I think. Fanjecture says, I'm not sure why people have an issue with the price. It's literally the same that HBO has been, and we've paid for it for 7 years straight with Game of Thrones and no complaints. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's... Look, people have the right to complain, for sure, but I think that when it comes to business decisions, there's stuff going on that just, just your average Joe comic fan, nerd, or whatever isn't necessarily thinking about. You know what I mean? Let's see here. CGM Show says, I feel like it's a little bullshit that give Disney Plus such a hard time for not having original stuff, but HBO Max has nothing new. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I'm not necessarily giving Disney Plus shit. I think it's pretty widely been reported on and talked about that the lack of content or original content hurt Disney Plus. And by the way, it will hurt HBO. Like, the thing is, HBO Max, like, all that great content I just talked about, in about a month or two, especially with everybody at home, the conversation will shift to where's the Snyder Cut? Where's that? Okay. By the way, kind of doesn't matter that people are talking shit on Disney Plus, because Disney Plus has succeeded monumentally throughout the process of the economic shutdown. And I almost want to say that without Disney Plus, Disney would have been in some big trouble. And the crazy thing is, they got it, and they got it in there, and they got customers before all of this happened. And so they've been able to really leverage that in a really good way. But hey, man, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, brother, and you're allowed to have your opinions. You are allowed to have your opinions. And by the way, I welcome the criticism, and I welcome people expressing their opinions. I don't think the future of this channel, the future of this brand, we need that. We need your feedback. We need your honest feedback. You know what I mean? I mean, ultimately, you know, myself and the different producers, we will make the decisions about the content, but we will certainly take into account what people are talking about, what people are saying in the comment section, what are people saying on the live streams. This is a relationship, you know what I mean? So I appreciate it. You had me sold when you said Studio Ghibli was going to be on HBO Max. I saw some of you guys saying that I was pronouncing it wrong. Is it Ghibli? Is that it? Ghibli? Will be on HBO Max? Dude, yeah. Alex. Crazy, right? When I saw that, I was like, what? No way. And then I looked, it's the entire catalog exclusively streaming. That is not a small deal. That is a big deal. Let's see here. I think a lot of people overlook a lot of Disney Plus original content because they aren't watching some of it. Jeff Goldblum's show is just one example of several. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. That's totally fair. But I think that, like, you know, therein sort of lies the problem, right? I mean, you're kind of explaining in the explanation the problem, and it's not on us. It's on them. If you make original content that's easily looked over, that doesn't get into the mainstream, like, pop culture cognitive thing, you know, who's that really on? Is it on the people that overlook it, or is it on the company whose job it is to create content that doesn't get overlooked? You know what I mean? So, but I appreciate the point. I think it's a totally fair point. But the truth is, kind of still their fault. Are you going to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tonight, Josh? Probably not. Probably not. Ghibli. I might have to get into the Ghibli later, you know what I mean? More Dragon Ball content, then. Yeah, I want to do Dragon Ball content. Look, YouTube is just frustrating, right? You know what I mean? Like, I love to talk about all these different things, and we do a variety of content. YouTube is just weird. It doesn't push that out, you know? We'd have to, like, continue to make a bunch of Dragon Ball content and then start to get authority there and then do it or whatever. But that's kind of what this show's for. The streams in the show is like, this isn't algorithm stuff. Like, we're not trying to break the algorithm here and get views. This is an organic show that will grow organically. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Look, I'm not a big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan. Just not. I think it's super weak, actually. But maybe if I hear a lot of good things about this final season, I'll check it out. But for me, in a sea of great content, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just is not it. Exactly, Josh. There's definitely more original content there, but they just haven't done a great job of bringing it to the surface. Yeah. For sure. What do you think has more content, HBO Max or Disney Plus? So that's an interesting question. Here's what I think. I think that they probably actually have equal amount of content. I do. I think they actually have an equal amount of content. But the thing is about the Disney content is, just speaking for myself, a lot of that stuff I'm not that into. You know what I mean? Like the more sort of child or family driven stuff, it's just not for me. I'm just not that into it. You know what I mean? So I think that HBO potentially has a leg up on them there for me as a consumer, not necessarily for everybody, but for me. I think families, like, dude, that Disney Plus is marketed and priced as, I think, to be a no-brainer for people within the Disney ecosystem and for families that want their kids to watch Disney content. It is literally a no-brainer, you know, which is what it was designed to do. It's designed to come into that ecosystem and not really compete with other things, because I don't think it can. You know, that's just my opinion, but I would say that the amount of content is probably equal. How much of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have you seen? So I've seen right up to right around the time where they were doing the stuff with the Inhumans, and that the following season where Ward became the Hydra, like he had the Hydra in him or something like that. And then there was the stuff on the other planet where, what was it, Simmons or Fitz maybe was on that other world with the Hydra and all that crazy stuff. And then the Hydra comes in and possesses Ward. That's where I fell off. Because the Inhumans in that show was the Inhumans in that show weren't good. It wasn't good. Just wasn't good. Season 3. Heard that. And to be honest with you, Season 2 was pretty good, and Season 3 was much better. And there was something about that Season 1. It honestly wasn't that great, but I still enjoyed watching it. It was sort of novel at the time. I think Avengers had just come out and all that stuff. And I remember this one episode, man. It was like back in college we were watching it, and that episode with Scorch. Do you guys remember the episode in Season 1 with the character Scorch? And he has this like hilarious line at one point where he says like, "Be careful that you almost got scorched." And like I'll just never forget that shit. Like it was so funny and memeable. But yeah, the show's just not that great. Like it's just not that great in my opinion. The mirror stuff in the next season was pretty neat. Okay, to check that out. The Thor crossover was good. You mean the Lady Sif crossover? They lost me when Hydra took over. What are your expectations on Stranger Things Season 4? I don't know. I mean, there's going to be some stuff in Russia. There's going to be some stuff with Homeboy that didn't really die. You know? So, I'm into it. It's so funny. The one thing about Stranger Things that's really interesting is, like, dude, they've got to crank that show out fast because these kids are growing up fast. Like, these kids are growing up fast, dude. Fast. Kree, not Mir. Okay, heard that. The Kree stuff's cool. Check it out. The Weasel from Ghostbusters 2? What? I think we may see the birth of Hydra. Look, man, again, like I'm not trying to take anybody's enjoyment away from it. If you like the show, that's awesome. I bet there's a lot of people really excited about that show. I'm just definitely not one of them. And it's like one of those things, it's the same thing to me with the Dark Phoenix thing. It's hard to get pumped for this final season because, dude, Feige is not going to continue in Feige's MCU. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I very much doubt that anything from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be in the MCU moving forward. You know? So why would I even, like, how? Why? If I don't... Here's the thing. If I don't like the show, and it also has no bearing on the MCU moving forward, then why would I watch it? You know what I mean? Josh, why is Marvel more successful with live-action movies, but DC is more successful with animated movies and TV shows, as well as live-action shows? A not see. So, Tony, I'll just tell you this, man. I think that... So why is Marvel more successful with live-action movies, but DC more successful with animated movies and TV shows, as well as... Actually, this is really simple. This is really easy. Singular creative vision. DC animated shows. Bruce Timm. That whole team over there creates a singular creative vision for the films and for the universe. Okay? Pretty simple. Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kevin Feige and his team of lieutenants. Singular creative vision. Pretty simple. The CW shows, which to me have really fallen off in value and in quality over the years, like really fallen off. But they have been successful, very successful. Why? Greg Berlanti and his team of lieutenants. A singular, creative vision. It's pretty simple, my friend. Pretty simple. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a stepchild that Feige was forced to raise. Yeah, and then as soon as it turned 18, he kicked it right out of the house. When is my boy Piccolo going to get his well-deserved power-up in Dragon Ball Super? Dude, that's such a good question, Alex. I don't know. It really seems like, especially with the way they're going in this Moro arc, that, like, a lot of the main supporting Z fighters, like Piccolo and even Gohan, unfortunately, they're going to get shafted again. You know? They're going to get shafted again. Now, they got a little bit of glory and cool stuff when Moro and his armies were first on Earth, and there's actually some really cool stuff in the manga with, like, Gohan, like, doing the damn thing. But it's really tricky. Look, they just keep scaling up the villains. They keep scaling up the power. They keep finding new crazy ways to do it, which is actually why I'm interested in what's going on with Vegeta in this new form or this new technique or whatever it ends up being, because, like, it can't just be getting more powerful forever. They have to start introducing the techniques and variety in that sense, in my opinion. Stargirl looks dope, though. Stargirl is, I mean, it looks funny. It looks cool to me. I've never been a huge fan of that character, but yeah, Stargirl's probably pretty cool. Probably pretty cool. Josh would be perfect casting for Martian Manhunter if they did a TV show for HBO Max. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I don't know if I agree, but I'd be into it. Josh would be Wolverine. That'd be really sweet. Once you watch the opening sequence, it's down from there, in your opinion? Interesting. All I know is my favorite manga, Kingdom, will be back in a few days since it went on break for a month due to the cover. Interesting. Stargirl started off okay. We're giving it a chance. Not completely sold on it yet. Is Stargirl on HBO Max? Do I get to watch Stargirl on HBO Max? I know I get to watch Doom Patrol. Let me see. Maybe we can just... I mean, I got the damn thing open right now. Nope. Nope. Stargirl is not currently on there. That's another thing. I think the DC Universe thing, I mean, like, if they're smart, like, just fold that into HBO Max. 100%. Fold that into HBO Max. And I know there's some, like, licensing issues. Like, they don't even have all the DC movies on here right now. Because reasons. Let's see what they do about DC. Let's click this on DC. I think there's a lot of good content here, guys. I really do. So, Doom Patrol is, like, front and center. Batman v Superman. HBO's Watchmen, which is a criminally underrated show. HBO Watchmen, the show that almost broke me and then brought me back. I hated that show. After episode 2, or maybe it was 2 or 3, I was like done with that show. I was ready to write 1,000 angry emails to David Lindelof. I was going to start raging out as a huge Rorschach fan, like GTFO. Are you kidding me, David Lindelof? And then it was just so good. It was so good. It's so good. So if you haven't seen HBO Watchmen, you've got to check it out. There's that overrated Joker movie that they did with Joaquin Phoenix. So that's on there. If you like completely overrated movies, you can check that out. They got Jonah Hex on here. Oh my God, guys. They've got Steel. They've got Shaq and Steel on here. Oh my God. Yo. And they've got the Dark Knight Returns animated film part 1 and 2. Wow. That is wow. Why does the Supergirl's logo, her face looks so weird there? That is not her. Man, they got some good stuff on here, boys and girls, I tell you. They don't have any Nolan stuff, though. But it doesn't matter because they got Batman and Robin. You guys remember how, like, quotable and hilarious Batman and Robin is? I want a Jonah Hex reboot so bad. The comics were so good. Haven't read a lot of Jonah Hex, actually. Your Joker take is greatness. Thanks, man. Pretty Little Liars is on there, yeah. Guys, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's... It's not a hesitation, Jacob. It's licensing agreements. Like, actually, strangely enough, what's the deal? Dark Phoenix. X-Men Dark Phoenix is actually on HBO Max, even though that's technically owned by Disney now. And why? Licensing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just somebody else has distribution rights currently wrapped up for Nolan's stuff. I mean, look, that's a huge catalog of stuff going back, and it's all businessy jargon. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Yeah, dude. So many good one-liners. So many good one-liners in that movie. Holy crap, that movie is full of one-liners. And the Arnold... I mean, honestly... The Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze lines are golden. Golden. Something tells me Disney isn't going to fight that hard to get Dark Phoenix back. Yeah, for sure. CGM show says, dude, the video game technology used in The Mandalorian is crazy awesome. So I finally watched that episode last night, and like I was just like, you know, the thumbnail, right? We used the Hugh Jackman scene from The Fountain. That was like me last night watching that video of the volume and the technology there, and like just how brilliant all these people are, how brilliant George Lucas is, how Jon Favreau is basically a new George Lucas, how like the future of Star Wars is incredibly bright and there's really good shit happening with Star Wars. Yes, baby. Yes, it is a good time to be a nerd. Dude, that... And the thing that's crazy about the volume is it's not even proprietary. There's no proprietary tech. It's just LCD screens. It's just computer-generated data. It's a video game engine. It is a total and complete game changer. And the coolest part about it was about the actors. How the actors responded to it. Because I want to say this. One of the things that I continued to say if you look back and we were reviewing The Mandalorian each week, right? One of the things I kept saying was I was surprised by the acting. The acting was so good. Gina Carano's acting was so good. Like, I was really surprised by her acting. I really liked it. I thought the acting with Mando was great. I thought the acting with the Queel and all those characters was crazy good. I was like, this is so weird how good the acting is in the show. I think that all of that could be attributed to the volume. Because it's like some of the things that Carl Weathers was saying on the doc where he was like, sometimes all the actors are imagining things in a different way. But in the volume, you're all not imagining, but perceiving the same thing. If something happens in it, if something shows up on screen, everybody's actually reacting to that thing. There is no making it up. Everybody's reacting to it. And I think that literally helped the acting for everybody on the show. And Giancarlo Esposito, like, his enthusiasm about the whole thing was infectious. I was like, damn. Also, side note, made me think that I want to play D&D in a volume. I want to play D&D with my group of friends in the volume and have the actual world of Dungeons and Dragons created all around me. Tell me that wouldn't be fucking dope. All right, last question I'll answer for Tony. Anthony Manzano, the man with the questions, says, Josh, in your opinion, who would win in a fight, Thanos or Super Saiyan God Goku? Not even close. Super Saiyan God Goku would run roughshod on Thanos. Hundo Pacento. Wait till the Mandalorian gets the Unreal Engine 5. I know, right? Dude. Crazy. Crazy cool. Goku, kind of tired of him, to be honest. Well, you know, Goku's pretty strong, but apparently Luke Skywalker's much stronger, according to our battle bracket. You know what I mean? All right, let's get Trinity Stream on here for you guys. Yeah, baby. Whoa, what the hell? Why am I listening to myself all of a sudden? No, get that out of here. So Trinity will probably be live any minute. Oh, wow. Literally right now. Here we go again, says Ryan. Yep. Well, I'm hearing that music, that Trinity's music. Love that shit. All right, guys. Head on over to Trinity's stream. Hope I see you in the chat over there. And you guys are pretty awesome. You know, just want to let you know that. You guys are pretty awesome. Thank you for being awesome. Supporting the channel. Helps out a lot. Yep, I'll see you guys soon. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I will see you in the next video.